Hi there, my name is Dave Burgess and I'm one of the animation supervisors on DreamWorks Over the Hedge. Today I'm going to spend a little time with you guys and hopefully show you how to have fun drawing Hammy the squirrel. One of the things that's really important when you start to draw a character is try to have it in your head before you put it on the paper. That's really, really important. So see it in your brain and then make that picture that's in your brain go onto the paper. And if you do that, you'll have really good luck and you'll have really great results. The best way to start, I think, with Hammy is to keep it really simple at the beginning. So try and figure out the basic shapes and then you add detail to it afterwards. Hammy has a head, which is good for him. So it's always good to start with the head. And then he has a chest, which is a smaller circle like that. And then he has kind of a pelvis area down at the bottom. And he's a little bit bottom heavy. So his pelvis is a little bigger than his chest, but it's not quite as big as his head. So those are the three main parts of his body. And if you keep those in mind, you can draw him doing anything you want, because you can always set that body up by using just those three simple shapes. So once you have those kind of three basic shapes, then you can start filling in how the body's going to look. So what I do is try to come up with what they call a line of action, which is a sort of a line that runs through the whole pose and keeps the whole thing working together really nicely. Okay, so what I usually like to start with is the head. So I know he's got big puffy cheeks like that, and he has kind of a flat head like that. Hammy's got nice big eyes. His eyes start at about the middle, and that's one of the reasons I think that people like him, is because he's got really nice big eyes and you can see his expression really, really clearly when he opens his eyes up like that. And then there's his brows. And then his nose kind of comes down like this. He has kind of a big nose actually for a cute little guy like that, and there's a little bit of a bend right there on his nose. And then it comes down to a triangle. So most of the stuff that you do with this is you try to find the simple shapes underneath all the fur and all the cuteness that make it easy to draw and easy to keep track of. And now I'm going to go ahead and find where his mouth is going to go. So I know his mouth, the center of his mouth is starting here underneath the center of his nose like that. So I'm going to bring that mouth across like that. And then these little muscles up here kind of push when he's smiling, and that pushes the fur on his cheeks up a little bit, like that. So it gets kind of puffy. And then I'm going to find one of his next major things, which are his teeth, his front teeth, which come down like that. He's got those great big squirrel teeth in the front like that. And he's got some little teeth in there as well, like that. And then he also has, so this is kind of like his basic head shape like that. A little bit of a chin under there. He's got ears, and the ears are way at the back of his head, and they're like two little triangles like this, kind of on the side of his head, of the flat part of his head like that. Now I'm going to go in and add a little bit more detail to his eyes like that, so you can see. So usually what you do is you draw the dark part of the pupil like that first, and then you put the iris around it. And the iris is the colored part. And with Hammy, it's green. He's got really pretty green eyes. Like that. I tend to jump around a lot. I feel like this is working pretty well. Now I'm going to go down and sort of start working on the body. These little circles down here for his chest and his hips. So we're going to join those up like this and get a sense of where his body is going, like that. And then his legs are going to be down like this. And they're sort of like two triangular shapes, basically, for the upper thigh and for the low leg. And then the other one I'm going to put over here, like this. And again, I'm keeping it really light and really simple at first, because I know I'm going to add the detail on top of it. And then for feet, I'm just going to put his just little straight lines for now, and I'll figure out exactly what I want to do with those in a minute. And then this whole line is going to run out through his bottom and then up to form his tail. Is going to come out like that and be really big and fluffy and very squirrely, like that. As you can see, this all kind of connects up like that through that line. And his tail is really big and really fluffy. And then for his hands, now I'll go ahead and figure out what I'm going to do with his arms. I think with this arm, I'm going to keep it a little bit squirrel-like. I'm going to bring the shoulder up, and I'm going to bring his hand up like that. And I'm going to put his little fingers on sort of very simply like that. Because I want that kind of squirrely feel. Because you've all seen squirrels do that, where they bring their hands up to their chest and they're looking around at stuff. So that's a really nice kind of recognizable squirrel behavior and pose. So whenever you can find things like that for your character or your drawing, it really makes them believable. Even though he's obviously a cartoon, but he still will have a little bit of that squirrel character to it, and that's really great to try to find. So then I've got this, and then my other arm, I'm going to bring that shoulder up, and he's holding up. He's very happy. What is he happy about? He's happy because he's found an acorn, because he does like nuts, because he is a squirrel. Like that. Let's give him a nice big walnut to hold on to, or acorn, sorry. Like that. And again, I'm trying to keep this real light at first, so then I can fill it in and make it darker as I go along. So I'm going to just jump around a little bit more and pick out a few more details. The teeth kind of come around like that a little bit. Again, his nose comes like that, has that little triangle shape, a little bend up here like that. The top of his eyes are nice and up because he's excited about this nut, like that. He's got little eyebrows that are actually a little bit hairy, like that. And his mouth comes across like that. Again, he's got those big puffy cheeks like that. His ears. And that flows right down into his chest like that. And then his legs. Again, try to just reinforce these simple shapes and then bring it down here into his leg like that. And then his foot comes across like this. And Hammy has 4 toes. Not that you need to see them all the time, but it's nice to know that they're there. So I put in 4 little toes like that. And then on the other leg as well, he's going to have 4 toes. It'd be sad if he had 4 on one and 3 on the other. But again, it depends how you're looking. Sometimes it looks like there's only 3, even though there is 4, like that. And then as his shoulders are coming up here, like out of his neck, they kind of puff up a little bit and then go down like that into his arm. And then you can sort of show a little bit of his furriness if you want to by whenever you get any kind of these places that are round, like on the top of his shoulder or on the tip of his elbow like that, if you just kind of fluff it up a little bit with your pencil, it'll make them look a little bit fuzzier and a little bit cuter. You can also do it up here, like on his cheeks, as it's coming around like that, and up here on top of that too. And then for the other hand, he's coming down like this. And then again, you can add a little bit of that fuzziness right there on his elbow if you want to. And then get his acorn looking a little bit better, and try to make sure that his fingers are really grabbing that acorn because he doesn't want to drop it. He'd be sad if he dropped it. Like that. Now I'm going to puff up his chest a little bit more. He's got like a white chest that goes down here. And this part of his cheeks, and from his nose over to his cheek and all down his neck, and then across his chest and down his tummy, and then up the back of his tail, that's all Hammy's white part. And then the rest of him is all that pretty kind of coppery red color. Try to get a little bit more detail into his tail, make it look at that little bit extra more fluffy, like that, by just adding some little extra kind of fluffy lines on it, like that. Get in here and actually draw the hand, like that. Hammy has 3 fingers and a thumb. Hands are hard. Hands are one of the hardest parts to draw. So I like to procrastinate and do it at the very end if I can. Like that, and then there's his thumb right there. And that's Hammy.